The White House warns the U.S. is running out of money to aid Ukraine. And a house explodes in Virginia as police attempt to execute a search warrant. The Morning Rundown starts now.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world. This is the Morning Rundown.
Today is Tuesday, December 5th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kara Rucker. We are out of money and nearly out of time. That was part of a letter the White House sent to Congress on Monday, warning that the U.S. will run out of funding to supply Ukraine with weapons in its war with Russia by the end of this year. In the letter, U.S. government officials said cutting off the flow of U.S. weapons and equipment will kneecap Ukraine on the battlefield and increase the likelihood of Russian military victories. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky will address U.S. senators by video today during a classified briefing. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said Zelensky was invited so senators could hear directly from him what's at stake. The Biden administration is urging Congress to approve a nearly $106 billion funding package that includes aid for Ukraine and Israel. Republicans on Capitol Hill, including House Speaker Mike Johnson, say they will only consider additional funding if there are changes to the U.S.-Mexico border policy. Over the weekend, however, border talks between Senate Republicans and Democrats fell through. Our Lauren Taylor has a full report on those developments now on SAN.com. The Israeli army has begun its operations in southern Gaza. The New York Times analyzed satellite imagery of Israel's movements. The Times reports Israeli forces are approaching the largest city in the south, where Israeli officials believe Hamas leaders have been stationed since leaving the northern section. Images show dozens of armored vehicles positioned in the south amid activity that closely resembled how the Israel Defense Forces operated in northern Gaza. Israeli officials have said in recent days that they will expand their operations all over the Gaza Strip. The United Nations Office for Humanitarian Affairs said between Sunday and Monday afternoon, Gaza has seen some of the heaviest shelling since Israel began its strikes on Hamas following the October 7th terror attack. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said it was too soon to know if Israel was making more targeted strikes in Gaza to limit civilian casualties.
Now, as you noted, they have actually taken the quite unusual step for a modern military and identified precisely the area that they intend to have ground maneuver. And they have asked the people in that area to move out.
In response to the evacuation orders, Thomas White, the Gaza director of the United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees, saying this morning on X that neighborhoods in Gaza with over 600,000 people have been ordered to move. White saying this could double the number of displaced people heading to the city of Rafah, something he says the city would not be able to cope with. The White House is condemning a protest outside a falafel restaurant in Philadelphia, whose owner is Jewish and Israeli. White House officials calling the protest anti-Semitic and completely unjustifiable. Dozens of pro-Palestinian demonstrators seeking a ceasefire in the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas were recorded on video this past weekend, shouting genocide outside the restaurant. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro called it a blatant act of anti-Semitism and not a peaceful protest. Shapiro said a restaurant was targeted and mobbed because its owner is Jewish and Israeli. This hate and bigotry is reminiscent of a dark time in history. The owners of the restaurant have declined to comment as of yet. The mayor of Philadelphia said the city is investigating. An explosion destroyed a home and sent shockwaves through a neighborhood in Arlington, Virginia, as police attempted to serve a search warrant on Monday night, and it was all caught on video. Law enforcement says no officers were hurt in the blast. The suspect, who has yet to be identified, was the only known person inside the home at the time. The suspect's condition is not known. According to police, neighbors reported hearing possible gunshots from inside the home earlier in the day. Police arrived on the scene around 4:25 p.m. local time and determined the suspect had shot a flare gun 30 to 40 times from inside the home. A standoff ensued, with police saying the suspect fired several rounds from an apparent firearm. Nearly 4 hours after the start of the incident, officers tried to make contact with the suspect when the blast occurred. Police are investigating the cause of the explosion. Wednesday's Republican primary presidential debate will see 4 candidates take the stage as the GOP field continues to shrink. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie have all qualified for the 4th primary debate, the Republican National Committee announced on Monday. The GOP frontrunner, former President Donald Trump, citing his poll numbers, is once again skipping the debate. Instead, he will be holding a private fundraiser. Tonight, Trump will appear at a town hall on Fox News. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, who did not qualify for the last debate, suspended his campaign hours before the RNC's announcement. Wednesday's debate in Alabama is hosted by News Nation. Finally this morning, New York City says it expects to welcome nearly 7 million tourists during the holiday season, which means a lot of hotel rooms will be booked. If you're one of those visitors and seeking a different kind of hotel experience, one with a bit of 90s nostalgia, listen to this. The Plaza Hotel is offering a Home Alone 2 Fun in New York package, which allows guests to experience some of the movie's most iconic scenes. The package includes a 4-hour limo ride around the Big Apple, while visiting locations from the movie, including Central Park, the Empire State Building, and Radio City Music Hall. Guests will also get to eat like the character Kevin does in the film, dining on a large cheese pizza and a 16-scoop ice cream sundae. Those who book the package can also celebrate Home Alone star Macaulay Culkin, who just received his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame last week. These are your top stories for this Tuesday. You can now connect with the Morning Rundown in a variety of ways, including subscribing to our podcast or signing up for our newsletter. Just go to san.com/rundown for more details. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great day.